Good afternoon. I am here at the church just planning for the coming weekend and just finalising some arrangements, and I wanted to share with you a few things that we have coming up for this Sunday, but also start looking ahead to our missions conference in March. And so this coming Sunday morning we're continuing going through the Great Commission as we have it in Matthew 28. And we've been going through it for several weeks now. And the first week we considered what the Great Commission was, just the basics of it. And essentially the Great Commission, as Jesus gave it to us, is to go into all the world and preach the gospel, to teach, baptize, and teach. And so we've been breaking it down into its parts. And so we considered what the gospel was. What is the good news that we go out with? And the good news is that even though we're all sinners, every single one of us does wrong. And so because we sin, we deserve to be sent to hell. That's the due punishment that falls upon all of us. But despite that, God loves us anyway. And John 3:16, one of the most familiar Bible verses, tells us that God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believes in him should not perish but have everlasting life. And so God sent his Son into the world, and Jesus Christ was born perfect, born of the Virgin Mary. So he didn't have our sin natures. He never committed any sin all through his life. And then when he died on the cross, as he was crucified, God the Father placed on him your sin and mine, and he was punished in our place. And the good news now is that we can be saved because of what Jesus did. When Jesus was dying on the cross, in his final moments, he said, "It is finished." Christianity is not a faith which is telling us to do something to be saved, but it is a wonderful message that everything required for our salvation is done. It's accomplished. And all we need to do is ask God to forgive us because of what Jesus did for us on the cross, and we receive salvation as a free gift. Another familiar Bible verse is from when Paul was writing to the church at Ephesus, and he told them in chapter 2 verse 8 and 9, "For by grace are you saved through faith, and that not of yourselves, not of works, lest any man should boast." And so that is the good news that we take into all the world. It's a simple message, and it's one that's easy for us to proclaim. And so as we continued looking at the Great Commission, we saw that there is a power that is committed to us. Jesus said, "All power is given unto me in heaven and on earth." The authority that's needed, the power, ability, everything required to accomplish the mission, Jesus Christ has already made available to us. We then saw the plan, and the plan is this: to go everywhere, to tell everyone. It's not complicated, although we do need to be deliberate and detailed in our plan. And that's why we're spending this time looking at the Great Commission, because we want to look and see what our role is here at Bedford Bible Church, and we'd love to tell you how you can be a part of that as well. The plan is to go and send. And just as an aside, that's going to be the theme for our missions conference coming up in March, to go with the gospel ourselves and to send others to where we cannot go ourselves. And then we looked at the picture of the Great Commission. Well, when someone is saved, they trust the Lord, then the command is there for them to be baptized. And so baptism, it doesn't save anyone. But what it does do is pictures what has already happened in a believer's heart and life. And so as a person is taken down into the waters of baptism, it pictures the death of Christ and them dying with him. And when they're raised back up, it pictures their new life with Christ. And so we can go into talking about being born again, but it's a picture. The perseverance of the Great Commission. How has the Great Commission come down to you and I here today? Well, it's because it persevered down through the centuries. And so what we focused on in that message was the truth of discipleship. That every believer needs to be taught by another believer, but then every believer should be seeking someone else to teach them. So no matter how old or young a Christian may be, they ought to be teachable and teach in. This coming Sunday, we're going to turn to Matthew 28 one last time, and we're going to consider what Jesus meant when he told us that he would be with us always. And so there we have the presence of God with us. And it's really excited me to consider that although Jesus said, "Go," he wasn't just saying, "Go and I'll meet you at the end," or "Go and I'll see you later." He said, "Go and I'll be with you." And so in essence, Jesus was saying, let's go. Let's get this done. Let's accomplish the task. And so God goes with us. We have his presence, and we want to think about what that means. Sunday evening, we're going to continue going through our series on stewardship. God created everything. Everything belongs to him. And therefore anything we have, anything we can do, any opportunity before us it has come from God. And so as a good steward, we want to think about how we use our time, our talents, our finances and resources in order to further the gospel. And so we considered time last Sunday evening, and this week we're going to think about our finances. How do we approach money? And the kind of a hint is that it's not about the money, it's about the heart. And so if you can be here this Sunday evening, we'll be talking about what it means to be a good steward of our resources, of our possessions. Our new Sunday school for young families, for young couples, and again, I'm still figuring out exactly what we're going to call it, but that's continuing at 10 o'clock, and I'm teaching that class, and we had a great start. I really enjoyed it. I think others did too, and we'll continue going through that material. And of course, we have our continued new start time in the evening of 6 p.m. And one last thing I want to mention to you, our missions conference coming up is from March the 13th through to the 15th, and so we're coming up on it very, very quickly, and we're going to be having in 3 missionary families, and hopefully one of our local missionaries is going to be able to be with us. We have an evening service planned for Friday, and then on Saturday afternoon we have an international meal, which is a bring and share lunch. And I'll be sharing more about that with the church family here on Sunday, and then I'll be posting more about it online next week, God willing. And then on Sunday, all through the day, the missionaries are going to be involved with sharing their burden, telling us who they are, where they're from, and preaching the word. And so lots to look forward to. And again, keep in your minds that Easter coming up in April, we have some very big plans here that we're putting together in order to share the good news of the death, burial, and resurrection of Jesus Christ. And there's a family event that we're looking at putting on, and I'm really excited about it, and so I'll share more about that. But that's going to be on April the 11th. And so if you have any questions, if we can help you in any way, then please do let us know. But God willing, I look forward to seeing you here on Sunday. God bless you, and I look forward to seeing you.